Motherhood. You hear so much about it. It is a life-changing event, but how can you actually thrive in it? I'm going to share with you exactly what has helped me and the mindset shifts that I have implemented to make sure I was not only surviving in motherhood, but also thriving in it. So let's get into it. Hello, my beautiful angels, and welcome to my channel. I'm Isabel Palacios, and this is a video that I've been wanting to make quite some time, but I normally don't make motherhood content on this channel, but I have so many of my viewers, my subscribers, my followers on Instagram who are new moms, so I thought, why don't I just sit down and make a video on what helped me to really thrive and enjoy motherhood instead of feeling like you're in survival mode every day. So this is specifically for the new mamas. If you have 2 or 3 kids, or this isn't your first rodeo, perhaps my advice won't fit for you, but maybe if you watch, you might find some tips or something that can help you in your own journey, no matter how many kids you have and no matter how long you've been a mom. But honestly, this is what I wish I knew when I became a mom. So I will be leaving timestamps down below if you guys want to skip around. I'm going to start off with talking about my own journey into motherhood, which a lot of people have asked me about. If you wish to skip, there's going to be a timestamp below if you'd like to skip this part and go straight into the tips. So I had my little girl when I was 28. My little girl is actually 2. So my pregnancy health-wise was great. I didn't have any major health issues. The only thing was that I did deal with a lot of stress throughout my pregnancy, just things going on in my life. My first trimester was really, really difficult. I had morning sickness the entire first trimester. It was actually all-day sickness I had. That thankfully went away in my second trimester. And then second trimester came along, my appetite came back, and I was just eating everything in sight. So you guys know what that led to. I wasn't exercising as much. My energy levels weren't that great, but I was just eating. And lots of fruits, honestly, lots of fruits and veggies, but I also had a lot of cravings and I gave into my cravings, which is fine. This led to me to gaining about 50 pounds. So by the time I gave birth, I was about 50 pounds heavier than when I had my daughter, which, you know, that's partly my fault. Thankfully, as soon as I gave birth, that 30 pounds probably came off. So I was left for around 20-25 extra pounds after I gave birth. But then I began to breastfeed, and I breastfed up until about 16 months. She naturally weaned herself. She just stopped wanting to breastfeed. So I had gained weight, even more weight during breastfeeding. So I was, kind of fluctuating. I wasn't very happy with the way my body was feeling or the way it looked. I gained stretch marks after pregnancy, which my sister and my mom never got stretch marks, so people say it's genetic, but I got stretch marks. It's okay, they kind of faded away at this point. The newborn stage was super exhausting for me. I had a pretty easy birth, which if you guys want to see my birth story, it's linked down below. I'm a person that needs sleep. I need sleep or else I feel awful. So the lack of sleep really got to me in that newborn stage. My husband went to work pretty much the next day after I gave birth, so my mom was around for about a month helping me, staying up at night, almost like a night nurse. She did phenomenal in that aspect. Between breastfeeding, between the lack of sleep, my daughter was also colicky. So she had pretty bad colic, I would say, since she was about a month old up until about 5 months. Very high needs, needed to be rocked to sleep. I didn't sleep train, focusing on my connection with my daughter, but it was just a really rough season. Those first 5 months was so tough. And my daughter didn't stop sleeping through the night up until maybe 13, 14 months. So well after a year, she didn't sleep through the night. She would wake at night, and luckily we were co-sleeping, safely co-sleeping, and I was breastfeeding. So all I would do is like latch her on and she, would fall back asleep. So it was a lot. It's all-encompassing. You don't have a sense of your own body, and it's just very much giving, 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 and not much being poured back in. I had no time for myself, really. My husband worked full-time, no nanny. I was basically a stay-at-home mom. I still am pretty much a stay-at-home mom, other than working in my own business. So I'm a work-from-home, stay-at-home kind of mom. There was a time in my journey where I thought I would never feel like a person again, where I would never feel like I used to before I had a baby. So I had, gone through some things where I just felt so lost. But I started to realize, I think towards the end of that first year, that what I really needed to do was, instead of fighting motherhood or fighting this new identity as a mother, and instead looking at it as something beautiful and seeing it as such a privilege to actually be a mom and to carry a child to full term, a healthy child, seeing it as a privilege while also honoring the fact that I was no longer the girl that I was before I had my daughter. I transformed, and I decided that I would look into my new transition as a mom as a beautiful thing. And that's when I really started to enjoy motherhood. So the mindset shift I had was seeing motherhood as a leveling up into womanhood, into a new level of womanhood. That's what I decided to see it as. As they say, when a baby is born, a new woman is born. Your old self dies the moment that you have a child. So it's normal when you're going through this transition and it's your first baby, it's normal to resist it, to feel fear around it, to resist the change. It's normal to mourn your old life, especially if you were like me, where I loved my alone time. I loved having a lot of free time. I had tons of free time. You're gonna mourn that to a certain extent. No matter how much you love your baby, it's normal to mourn what used to be, because it's such a radical shift. It's a radical change, and I don't think anyone can really prepare you for it. And also know this, we tend to romanticize the past. Even if our single life or our life before marriage or life before kids was a certain kind of way, it wasn't perfect either. It also had its ups and downs. So we do tend to romanticize the past and see it as great. But I remember whenever I used to pray for a family back in my single days, and that's what always brings me back to gratitude in the present moment. No matter how hard things got, I said, I used to pray for this. I used to want this. I used to visualize this. And now it's here. I can't let anything get in the way of me enjoying it. So one day your current situation will be romanticized too, especially for you new moms in the newborn stage. Know that it's not gonna last forever. Everyone says that, but it's true. I find myself, as hard as it was in that newborn stage, looking back at photos of my daughter as a baby and us together, and I was a bit fluffier in that time, but I look back on it with love and gratitude and just so much beauty and appreciation, not only for my body, but also our experience together. So know this, it is an honor. It is a beautiful thing to be a mother. Don't let anyone, society, what anyone else says, your friends, your family, don't let anyone shame you. I don't care what your situation is. Don't let anyone shame you or make you feel bad, or don't let anything make you feel bad for your journey as a mother and being a mom. It's a beautiful thing. It's a privilege that not everyone can have. So instead of looking back in the past or looking around you, comparing yourself to other moms or other people in your life or your single friends, instead focus in on the present moment. Focus in on you and your baby, especially that first year. One thing that really helped me was, before I went into having a baby, I told myself that first year, create a close attachment to your baby. Have that, really strengthen that attachment. I'm very much about attachment parenting, and that's my parenting style, where I want to be as hands-on as possible. I know that's not everyone's style, I know that's not everyone's reality, but for me that was super important. So I told myself that first year I won't have a life outside of the baby, that I will focus 100% on having a secure attachment style with my daughter. And that helped a lot, because it helped me to kind of release expectations on what I had to do or what I should be doing, and instead focus in on my newborn bubble, focus in on that world. Focus on creating a life you love exactly where you are right now in life. If your life is about breastfeeding round the clock or healing from postpartum, make sure that you are creating a life and enjoying that process as much as possible, as hard as it is. I know it's tough. Trust me, I know how draining and tough it is, but romanticizing aspects of it is going to help you so much. It's also important to consume content that has a positive frame of mind towards bonding with your baby, bonding with your children, towards motherhood in general. That's something that really helped me personally. Is I used to consume a lot of like relatable mother content. Complaining, I guess, was kind of like, seeing the negatives, but I stopped. For my own peace of mind, I stopped consuming that content, and instead I started consuming content that was about the positives of motherhood, of children, seeing children not as a burden but as a blessing. That's something that I was very conscious about, because I was consuming a lot of content that either made me feel bad about me. I was comparing myself, which had nothing to do with these creators, but I was comparing my journey to other women, and we can tend to do that if we have babies around the same time as other women, and we see them and they're like super healed and they're out and about, and meanwhile you're home with your baby. First of all, if that's affecting your mental health, unfollow. Do not focus on other people. Focus on romanticizing this life that you are in right now. Now with your body may shift, either very small. There's some women who have small changes in their bodies. Other women have big changes in their bodies, like me. I think that what we should do, instead of hating on our body and comparing it to our older self or our previous body or our body from our girlhood, that we instead start looking at our bodies as the beautiful vessels and the portals that they are. Focus on healing. Postpartum period should be focused on not only taking care of your baby, but also healing yourself. So visiting a pelvic floor physical therapist. So if you have mommy pooch and you feel some kind of way about it, visiting a pelvic floor physical therapist or doing exercises that are friendly for diastasis recti is going to help so much. Also, healing your hormones is going to be so important, because your hormones are going to be all over the place, especially if you're breastfeeding or you had maybe a difficult pregnancy, a difficult delivery. You want to make sure that you're focusing on healing your body, healing from any kind of birthing trauma, healing from depletion of minerals, healing the pelvic floor, and all of it comes with you honoring and listening to your body. Because if you've had maybe a few kids and you have another postpartum period that's nothing like the previous ones, you don't want to be hard on yourself. You want to honor your body, because every pregnancy is different, every baby is different, every postpartum is different. And take it as like a winter, right? Us women, we're cyclical beings. And when we're going through postpartum healing, we're like in an extended winter time where we have to heal, we have to go within, we're in this newborn bubble. So honor that. Slow down and enjoy it as best as you can, especially if you have to go back to work soon. Make sure that you are keeping that simple and enjoyable and relaxing for you, because it is tough, but you will get through it. It will one day be a distant memory that you will think about every now and then with great fondness and appreciation for you, your perseverance, and your body. Past the newborn phase, I guess, past that new mother energy. Now we get on to time management, which if you are in that first year, it's going to look like all types of different things, because your baby is going to be depending on you. That's normal. That's beautiful to have your baby depend on you. Don't fight it. Don't see it as something bad. See it as something that's a part of the process. So now as you start to gain more independence, you have a schedule, you have a rhythm. This is the stuff that's really helped me personally as I've gotten into, I guess, toddlerhood with my daughter. And that is to manage my time well. So one thing I do is wake up before my daughter. So waking up before your kids to have quiet time, prayer time. For me, it's Bible time, just time for quiet, no noise in the house, drinking your coffee, maybe spending time with your spouse before they go to work, or FaceTiming a friend. Sometimes your kids will wake up with you. If they do, have them do some quiet time while you have your quiet time. It's really important that you don't just stumble or crash into your day, because then you're just going to be miserable all day. So the beginning, the morning routine is so important. And if you're going to wake up earlier, of course, an earlier bedtime is essential. So try to have a set bedtime for your kids, so that you have time to not only have a night routine, but also go to sleep a little earlier. That's always, easier said than done, because we always want to get things done, but really easing into your night, into your sleep is going to help you have restful, recharged sleep. We have to focus on arranging our life and scheduling our life so that time works for us and with us instead of us trying to work against time. And if you're a working mom and you're out of the house a lot, this is even more important. And I think something really important is scheduling fun time for you and the kids, or you and your family. You know, whether that's going to the park, whether that's going to a trampoline park, be present with them, draw with them, play pretend with them. Really enjoy having fun and letting your inner child come out when you're playing with your child or when you're with them. Also, it's important to get help when needed, whether that's a nanny, whether that's a babysitter, whether that's somebody who's gonna just watch them for a couple hours while you go get something done. That's something I do. Like I said, I am stay-at-home mom most of the time, but luckily I've worked things out with my spouse so that it's not just all on me, right? Especially since I work in my own business as well. So that's something that we really had to work through, because I didn't really want to have a babysitter or a nanny or put her in daycare. And whenever I need extra help, we both want to do things together. I will have my mom or a family member, you know, watch her. And that's something that really was hard for me at the beginning, but now I've allowed myself to ask for help where I need it. Nothing wrong with it, because it takes a village. So outsourcing whenever you can is going to help a lot with time management. I think why a lot of women burn out is because we feel like we have to do it all, or we're in this position. If you're a single mom, you have to do it all. So even more so, trying to reach out, create a community, whether it's with other single moms or if it is with daycare, whatever, don't feel guilty about that. And one thing that really helps, especially when the house gets messy and it's the middle of the day and maybe you can't live with clutter, but you don't have time, you feel like you don't have time, is just set a timer, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, get as much done, especially during my daughter's nap time. That's usually when I'll tidy up a little bit in the home. Most of my day is filled with me being just one-on-one with my daughter. So what's important is that when she is napping, I try to take advantage of that time as much as possible. And sometimes while she's napping, I will nap myself or I will relax because I need it. Mom's the woman, she is the thermostat of the home. She sets the tone of the home. So she needs to take care of herself to have a happy home and happy kids. Face it, if mom is drained, the kids are gonna feel it. And you want to make sure that everyone's happy. It's not just about the kids, you matter too. You are the thermostat of the home. You matter. Unfortunately, we do live in a society that does not prioritize mothers. Feels like it's against you, but that's why it's important to give yourself permission and schedule in the time for you to actually care for yourself. Make it a non-negotiable to get a massage every couple of weeks, every month at least, so that you are feeling relaxed. You can find some, inexpensive massages around you. Go to local businesses. What can also help is making self-care a part of your daily routine. So like I was saying, the morning, right? Giving yourself something, whether that's a stretch, yoga, go for a walk. If you have little kids and they're awake in the morning, put that kid in a stroller and take their breakfast to go. Take a walk with them around the block. It's always better to do something that's gonna get you moving. It's gonna help with stress, and you get fresh air, baby gets fresh air, and you're gonna feel so much better afterwards. I also love silence in the morning, just being in silence, just sitting and drinking my coffee, reading a book or reading my Bible. That's when I usually get my Bible reading in. And at night, my non-negotiable at night is Epsom salt bath. So after everyone's asleep, just soak in there for a while. So I have a really hot bath and then I go into like a cool bedroom and it's just the best sleep ever. And that's something I've been doing since early postpartum. Then I let dad take over the nighttime routine or wait till my daughter's asleep to go and do that. Working with how your life is right now and fitting in those pockets of time, things that will help you. Try to stay off the phone, scrolling. I think I developed a phone addiction for a while postpartum because, breastfeeding was a huge thing, so I would just be scrolling, and that's something I had to break and instead focus it on things that I wanted to do. And that way I had more time to work in my business, more time to be present as a mom or to cook meals, which I love to cook. I love to make dinner, so that's something I always look forward to. Finding those things that you like and enjoying, thriving in motherhood, because we only have little kids for a few years and they get old and they don't want to be with you. You're gonna say, where did the time go? And I really want moms, especially newer moms, to see this as something beautiful, because there's so much content out there that is against motherhood or sees only the negatives, which with anything, with any job, with any life, there's going to be negatives. but I want you to focus on the good stuff, on the positives, romanticizing your life and enjoying the process, because you deserve it. You've done so many good things. You have given life, you have nurtured a little soul onto this planet, and you are creating a home for many women as well. You're working, you're paying the bills, you're doing all these things. You deserve to enjoy motherhood, and you deserve to have a good experience in it. I hope you took what resonated. If you guys want me to go in depth on any of these things, let me know. I can make more content if this is something you want to see. I don't know. And if you're a mom and you have tips that will help, please share them down below and share your experiences. That way we can learn from each other and feel support from each other, because that's what moms need at the end of the day, is they need support. I pray and hope that you have and find the support that you need during this time. And if not, always remember that you have the power within you. As a woman, you are a natural creator, and that's something that you cannot take for granted, and don't underestimate that power being in your nurturing maternal role. It is beautiful. So thank you so much for watching, my angels. If you enjoyed this video, like I said, hit thumbs up, subscribe, leave your comments, your thoughts down below. I hope to hear from you. And if you'd like to follow me, I'm on social media, on Instagram and on TikTok. Links are always down below. Always remember this, my beautiful angels, no matter who you may be in this life, no matter what you may be going through, what season of motherhood you are in, always remember your true beauty, your true worth, and your true power always come from within. I love you, and I will see you in my next video.